What's up, everybody? Welcome to VGU.TV's PlayStation podcast, The DualShock Show, where greatness awaits. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Mobley. And with me this week is Alan Muir.
God damn you, Phil Fish.
Ah, yes. It's a two-man show today, listeners. Tom's not around. I tried to get in contact with him, but he was like, I have some spotty internet, and but let me know what time. And then I tried to let him know what time, and he didn't show up. But,
well, to be fair, the first, couple episodes of DualShock Show were just you and Tom, so
yeah,
it's really just a return to what originally was.
Exactly. It's, listeners, if you listened to last week's show, I had some pretty spotty internet myself.
It was so funny and great. It was totally worth the 3 hours.
It was rough. It was very, very rough. But, CEO of VGU.TV, Josh Mobley, posed a solution to me. He said, you're trying to use the Wi-Fi, why don't you just use data? I was like, well, I guess I should try that. Now, so far, Al and I have been on a call for 10 minutes.
Yeah, everything's been fine.
He can hear me all right, and it's been all right, so hopefully that's a good sign.
You actually sound better now than you have for, the past 20 episodes.
Oh, Jesus.
Because this is episode 25.
Good God.
Yeah, only 30.
You sounded like shit the entire duration of this podcast.
Yeah, we're only 30 episodes behind GamerCast. We can do it. We can get there.
We can do it. Just 2 shows a week. Listeners, we apologize profusely that it's Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. And we apologize because we usually record on Saturday, and we might have to move things around because I work nights now, so I spend all my nights working, I spend all my days sleeping. It's very hard to conduct a podcast, especially when I'm working with 3 different time zones on this kind of schedule. It's possible that we may kind of move it to Tuesday just to talk about, the new PlayStation Plus deals and all that, and it's one of my days off as well. So I won't mind getting up early and then going back to sleep. But in the meantime, I wanted to let you know that I'm really sorry. We're going to kind of have a joint show. Al and I are going to talk about last week's news and this week's news. Of course, we shouldn't bother to talk about last week's PlayStation Plus deals because, they're gone. Well, at least most of them are, I'm sure.
Honestly, there's only just one thing last week. It was just Metal Gear XX.
No, it wasn't Metal Gear. It was
oh no, Metal Gear, Metal Slug.
Metal Slug, that's right.
And it's a PSP game, so that didn't matter.
Yeah. So, with that, listeners, an apology out of the way, let's go ahead and start the show proper with a segment that we always do, called What Have You Been Playing? Alan, what you been up to? What you been playing?
I know that what I'm about to say is blasphemy, but I've been playing some Xbox.
Oh, come on now. Why you gotta do that to yourself?
Only one reason, because the game I wanted to play came out before the PS3 even launched.
Oh.
Said game was Quake 4.
Oh, yeah.
Took 8 years, but I finally beat it.
My brother used to have Quake 2 on our N64. We never beat it. We just always played, the multiplayer against, it was me and my brother and my dad, and we always used to play against each other. That was the only thing I knew about Quake. I didn't know that it actually had a campaign.
Yeah. And then before I actually played Quake 4, I took a trip.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I took a trip to Castle Wolfenstein.
Ooh.
And by that I mean Wolfenstein in third dimension.
Oh. Well, now that's exciting.
Yeah, I shot many dogs, shot many Nazis, especially the blue-suited ones who, when they die, they shout, "Mi Namen!"
No, the SS.
Yeah.
Mm. That is a great. Well, that's Are you talking about the old PC game?
Oh yeah, the original.
Yeah, the original. Yeah, that's great. I like how like crazy it got. Like near the end. Like my father had it on the PC, and like the first 3 episodes were fairly normal. It was like okay, Nazi guards, SS, dogs, and then at the very end of the 3rd episode was Hitler, like in a robot suit, but Hitler regardless. And I was like, well, that's what I wanted. I wanted to kill Hitler. And then like there were 3 more episodes with like zombies and shit. And I was like, what happened?
It has a tendency of doing that. Like with Doom 1, there was an additional episode that had nothing to do with the first set of episodes.
Yeah.
The same thing with Doom 2, No Rest for the Living.
Mm.
But I really wanted to play classic 90s FPS games. So I also played Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah, the good one.
Yeah, the good one. I actually found Doom Guy, his body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I believe that was an Easter egg in that game. The thing that I always thought was funny though about the Wolfenstein, the extra episodes, the zombies and all that, I was like, why are we still playing? We killed Hitler. Like the war's over. Like I don't know why we're still playing. Like you should have paced this better. Hitler's supposed to be the last boss. But I don't know. Anyway, is that all you've been playing, or is there anything else?
I did play another game for the PlayStation 3.
Oh, well, that's good. There you go.
X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged Edition.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about that. How was that? Is that good?
I tried playing it and watching the movie at the same time.
Oh, God. Don't divide your attention.
Yeah,
because the movie's terrible. That much I know. I don't know about the game. I heard it was like average.
Oh no, the game is fantastic. It's like the goriest, one of the goriest games I think Activision has ever published, and one of the goriest.
Is that the one where like in the first level you like jump on a helicopter?
Oh yeah, and you pull the pilot out, stick his head in the propellers, and it's just purple blood because they couldn't render it right.
That sounds pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, but it's basically like flashing back. Like you're really you're in 2 spots for the game. You're in Africa, and basically in the present, following the film rather loosely.
Mm. That movie is not good. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I actually haven't. So I can't like legitimately say like it's not good. But I do have lots of friends that are like really into comics, much like you are, much like I am, and they have seen it, and they're like, it is just not good at all. That's not a good movie.
I've seen it 3 times.
Oh, Alan, why do you do this to yourself?
Hey, I consider it a better movie than X-Men 3.
X-Men 3 was actually like a horrible movie. Like my friend is also named Allan, and he's big into comics, and Cyclops is his favorite character. You can tell which part of the movie he wanted to walk out of.
Yeah, he fucking died off screen.
In the spoilers, in the first like what was it, like 15-20 minutes or so.
Yeah, he goes to Alkali Lake and just brooding, and then Jean Grey comes up. They kiss, and they just come back and find his visor on the ground, dust, and Jean Grey unconscious.
Yeah, it was. He was not happy. He's never walked out of a movie, and he didn't end up walking out of that one because, like, I think it was Josh actually, Con announced like, let's see how this plays out. but he wanted to walk out of that movie because of that. That was not a good movie.
Well, to be fair, Bryan Singer just said, "Fuck you guys, I'm off to do Superman." And he He took the writers. He took the composer. He took James Marsden.
And I'm taking James Marsden with me.
He really had no point in being in that movie, but he took him anyway.
Poor James Marsden is always getting like, he's always getting typecast as like the nicest guy, but like he always gets his girl taken from him. It happened in The Notebook. It happened in Superman Returns. It happened in X-Men. Just all the time.
Did you ever see Sex Drive?
Yes, and I thought that he was fucking great in that movie.
Yeah.
He was hilarious.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
That's all?
Yeah, I don't want to be like a half-hour thing like I did with Deadpool.
For me, I usually have the PlayStation right in front of me, but since I moved, I put it into my girlfriend's bedroom. We're in her parents' house now, for the time being at least. I put it into her bedroom, and she's, like any normal pregnant woman, is sleeping. So I don't have it in front of me, but I can tell you that last night. No, you know what? I downloaded God of War HD, the first one.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was like, I kind of want to play this game again. It's been a long time. I know I like and I hate God of War at the same time. I was like, here's an easy solution. I'm not going to play on very hard.
Yeah.
Because that angers me enough. Of course, it's gonna be. I don't know. Have you played God of War before? The whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know at least two parts that are gonna frustrate the hell out of me. The first is gonna be that desert, because the first time I played it, and it was on easy. Like the first time I played it on PS2, it was on easy. There were no trophies. Who cares? But like. The desert, when you get into the desert, you're like searching around and there's like no way to tell where you're going.
Yeah.
You're like, I guess I'm just going up? I don't know. Cause it's like an aerial shot. So you're like, I guess I'm just going up. I don't know. The second part is definitely going to be Hades with the spiked columns. Those were the worst.
Yeah, I think Jaffe actually was that the area that people just went nuts about because it was like really hard?
Mm-hmm.
Because if so,
yeah.
I think because Jaffe apologized for that.
Yeah. There's a trophy actually for getting up the spiked columns without taking any damage.
You're not getting that trophy.
I'm not getting that trophy. Josh has managed to platinum like every God of War game. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I managed to platinum the Chains of Olympus, the PS3 version, the PS3 version of that PSP one. I had to play through it like twice in a row, but I did it. Anyway, yeah, I did that. I beat the Hydra. My girlfriend was watching me because she's like, I want to play it, but I'm just so tired. So she's just like watching me, like I'll live vicariously through you. and she detailed to me, she was like, I tried to play this a long time ago. And like, I was so frustrated by the end of the Hydra battle, I was like, there! Fuck you! And I never played it again. Like, she was so angry, apparently, that she was just like, she didn't want to play anymore. So I play a little...
I love rage quits.
Which is, it's fun. The funnier part of that story is that she succeeded. She beat the Hydra, but didn't want to continue. I played a little bit of that. What else did I play? Oh, last night, cause I wanted to go to bed early last night, cause I wanted to start this show at like 9 o'clock. It's 11 right now. And yeah, don't do that.
I wanted to go to sleep early, too, but I got roped into a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah. Which I need to listen to. of course, like, my computer's like, you should restart your computer and finish installing important updates. I'm like, no, postpone this. Stop it. Not now. Jesus Christ. No. Last night I wanted to go to bed early because I want to start at 9. It's like 11:15 right now, so you can see how well that went. I ended up going to bed at 4 o'clock because I was playing Mass Effect, and I finally beat the first Mass Effect, which means I could start playing the good ones. Not to say that the first one is bad.
No. The first one isn't bad. It's just that it appeals to a certain demographic that the second and third ones.
The second and third ones just handle themselves so much better. The first one, like, it's basically like BioWare was like, we don't really know what we're doing. We're trying to put this together, and this and that, and the other.
Also, it was their first shooter they've ever done.
Yeah. So I mean,
the fact that they made it and it worked.
Yeah.
Including the cover system, sort of.
Sort of.
I mean,
the worst type of cover.
I've seen worse.
I just hate automatic cover. It's the worst, I think. As evidenced by, Operation Raccoon City. Yeah, I played some of that. Before I forget, yeah, I beat Mass Effect last night. And it was really like, cause I'm a renegade, and it was the first time that, like, I ever, picked Udina to lead the people. I still killed the fucking council, because, fuck them. It didn't help me.
Well, it's like the complete opposite of my playthrough. And I've played through Mass Effect 1 at least 5 times.
Every time I played, I have always saved Kaidan. I have always killed the council, and I have always usually picked Anderson to lead the people.
Yeah, because Udina's an asshole, and Anderson...
Udina's an asshole, yeah.
And Anderson getting picked would just make him furious, which is the point.
But first of all, playing as a renegade, Udina kind of sides with you. Like, you can tell that, like you and him are on level, even though he's still an asshole. Like you guys are on level. But it's I don't know. But also, spoilers, like for Mass Effect 3, Udina becomes the fucking leader anyway. So
yeah.
Which is like
again, choices you made that don't matter, or that don't matter at all.
No, I was like really more upset about that than I was about the ending. I was like, okay, the ending I can handle, but this fucking like I picked Anderson. Like, what the fuck?
Seriously, I'm experiencing so much deja vu from last night.
Yeah.
Because me, James, and Josh talked about the Mass Effect ending again in depth for like the 40th time.
James never lets it go.
Oh no, he has let it go now.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
He's just like, I have to accept it for what it is. I can't. I can't. Before I forget though, I put in Soul Calibur 4.
Oh.
Which is weird. Well, like, remember the last time we had a show? I can't say last week because it wasn't technically last week. I mean, it was a week and a half ago, I guess you could say. The last time we had a show, there were a few Soul Calibur stories.
Yeah, possibly like registering some trademarks.
Yes.
Announcing an HD remake of the second one.
Yes. And it made me, I was like, man, I haven't actually played Soul Calibur in a really long time. So I put it in, and like I played Soul Calibur 4, and because I didn't have my PlayStation here yet. So my girlfriend only has Soul Calibur 4 and God of War 3. and like the couple of games on her hard drive, I think, which was like the Resident Evil PS1 classics and Mass Effect. And I was like, it's not like I'm going to start over. So I just play like the story mode for Soul Calibur 4 with like several different characters. I did it for like Siegfried and Raphael and a couple others, I think. Nightmare. And Amy. Raphael's my favorite character, always has been. For one reason or another, I don't know. But I like him. And I thought about getting Soul Calibur 5, because that one actually has trophies. But then I was like, I don't have the money to just spend on that. I already like wasted money trying to get an external hard drive because nobody warned me that you cannot use an external hard drive to boost your PlayStation's game intake.
Yeah.
I did not realize this. I bought it and and plugged it in and realized, oh no. It's like, damn it! Now I gotta buy another hard drive. I was really I was hoping that an external hard drive would work, just because I didn't want to have to download The Last of Us again. Cause that was like an 8-hour ordeal. Also, did I mention, speaking of purchases that were disappointing, did I mention that I got the Legacy Collection and that I was a little disappointed in it?
You were downloading it, but you kept dropping.
That's right.
That's right. You like paused the download.
It works now, but here's the thing, listeners, about the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection. It's a beautiful box, and it's got a nice art book, which is not technically an art book. I mean, it does have a very nice picture of all the snakes in like one of the first pages, but the rest is just like all box art and fucking posters and promotional stuff. But the thing about the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, which I didn't know, is that if you look on the box, everything is printed on it. Like, look at all these games: Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid 4, VR missions, Metal Gear 1 and 2, digital graphic novels, all that. It's all printed on the box. You open up the box, and there's 2 discs. Disc 1 is Metal Gear Solid 4. Disc 2 is everything else.
Yeah.
All printed onto the disc. Again, Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 1 and 2, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, all that. But when you put that disc in, it's actually just the HD collection, which has 2, 3, and Peace Walker. And I didn't realize that in the cover, we're typically reserved for a manual, is a code for Metal Gear Solid 1 and VR missions. And I already had the HD collection and 4, so I essentially paid $40 extra for a fancy box. So, like, I could have just spent $10 to download Metal Gear Solid 1, because I know for a fact I'm not going to play VR missions. And it's like they have like the graphic novels for like Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, and it's like, well, I could just play the game. Why would I want to watch that? So, it was a little disappointing. I mean, I'm glad that I have it because it's a beautiful box and I like it and I like the collection, and I'll probably try to sell the other 2. I mean, Josh wants them, so I'm gonna see if I can sell it to him for like $30. Hey, well, both of them, like HD collection, because I bought that thing new. So, HD collection and 4. So, $30, like, that's kind of fair. I mean, don't you think?
It's a better, that's a much better deal than you'd get at GameStop.
Yeah, because they said 20, and I was like, I'd like to get a little bit more than that. And the last game, I'm sorry, I'm the one taking all the time. The last game that I played, speaking of Metal Gear Solid, I put in Peace Walker. I was like, because I couldn't sleep last night. I finished Mass Effect at like 2. I was like, I can't sleep. I'm gonna put in Peace Walker for a little while, see if I can get do a little something. Cause, everybody knows that, like, I'm bad at stealth games. Peace Walker's really hard. It's very hard to do it by yourself. And, so I was like, I'll just, like, go global, try and connect with somebody, anybody. And I got some guy in Japan to help me with, like, 2 missions. Well, the first mission I did, he, like, apparently I wasn't good enough for him because he got all pissed off and left. I still managed to pass it. And then the second one, like, me and this other guy from Japan, like, we managed to make it through, and we were like, oh, awesome. And I finished chapter 2, and I was like, okay, just 3 more chapters left. It's like, god damn it. Like, I like this game. Peace Walker's not a bad game. It's a tough game. It's not the best game in the series. But I really just want to play Metal Gear Solid again. Anyway, that's all I've been playing. I'm sorry that I took up all the time. So that's what we've been playing. Listeners, it's time to tell you what you're going to be playing. It's time for the PS Plus deals. Alan, could you take over and tell us what the US got?
Yeah, we got a free Vita game, Dokuro.
Any idea what that is? Like, what it's about at all?
It's a 2D side-scroller that, it's sort of like, Eco.
Oh, yeah?
In that you have, someone following you, and you have to make sure everything is safe. And it's basically like an escort mission in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really, like, I'm watching a gameplay video of it right now, it doesn't look that bad.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, since the Vita doesn't really have, like, triple or portable AAA titles, it's good to have something like this, so you're not just playing MLB 13 for the 40th time like I am.
Yeah. I still want a Vita, but, Sony, still waiting for that price drop. Needs to happen.
Yeah, speaking of yesterday, again, listeners, GamerCast 55, accept the hate.
Accept the hate.
Josh, James, and I hypothesized what would happen if Nintendo shut down today.
Today?
Yeah, like who would take what? Like Sony would take they would take Mario and Zelda.
Yeah.
And I realized, and I didn't say this, if Nintendo did shut down, Vita sales would go through the roof.
Vita sales would go through the roof, because it'd be like, we're not selling 3DSs anymore. What else did we get?
We got 2 games discounted.
Ooh.
Pixel Junk Monsters HD Ultimate, which, as you can tell, takes at least, I think it's like 200 levels.
Mm-hmm.
Of Pixel Junk Monsters, and like I said, puts them in nice, pretty HD quality. You can get that for your Vita for $11.99.
Oh.
And the next one is one that I'm really mad about. Max Payne 3 for $11.99.
You're like, God damn it!
Yeah, because I bought it when it was $20.99.
I just sold my copy. I don't have the money to buy it, but I sold my copy because I needed money, and I needed to build up some credit towards the PS3 or PS4. So, yeah, that's actually a good deal. Like, if you're a Max Payne fan, and you love the first 2, 3 was like, I mean, it's a departure from like what the first 2 was, but it's still very good.
To be fair, Remedy was...
That's at least my opinion.
Remedy was very limited in what they could do. Technically, so that's why they had the comic book type.
Well, the first one was like bare bones. Like, they couldn't afford to do anything. And like, but I mean, the second one, like, they got more money, but they were like, well, you know, we kind of already set these up, so 3 is a good game. The only problem I had with it was like, what's with this fucking, like, all these screen tears and shit? Like, it's giving me a headache.
Oddly, I really didn't experience much of those.
Like, I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, honestly.
Yeah, but the thing is, I got mad, but then I realized I actually got the the Ultimate Edition,
Right.
which has everything.
It has everything.
So I instantly felt better.
No, I mean, that's good. I think I had, I had bare bones. I fell asleep before, so sorry about that. I think I had bare bones. Like, I had something. I think I had, cause from a pre-order bonus or something. But I don't know. Anyway, we got some notable additions and deals.
Yeah, you can now pre-order Madden NFL 25.
Oh man.
For $59.99.
I'm excited.
And this one, although I get much hate for it, or I get made fun of because of it, I'm actually for once glad I have it.
Oh yeah.
The last DLC for Aliens Colonial Marines.
And
instead of being just crappy multiplayer maps and modes, this is an actual, like, single player, like, mode.
Like, it's something. It's actually something.
Yeah, it's actually something. It's about
it's real.
Yeah. It tells the story of Hicks from Aliens to Aliens Colonial Marines, and what happened with Alien 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, since not many people own it and are going to play it, I might as well spoil it.
Go ahead. I don't care. Spoilers. I mean, if you're an Aliens Colonial Marines fan, spoilers, like, because this is happening.
Yeah. So the Weyland-Yutani company,
mm-hmm.
they got or in Aliens, when the shit was hitting the fan, like the last battle, and Burke tried to get away.
Mm-hmm.
He somehow got a message out to Weyland-Yutani.
Yeah.
Which is why the PMCs were in, or that's why the PMCs pretty much attacked the American military.
Mm-hmm.
So they take, and this is, I'm pretty sure they just lifted this from Alien Resurrection. They take a ship.
Mm-hmm.
And basically impregnate everyone with facehuggers.
Mm-hmm.
So you play as a young girl who is trying to find her parents.
Mm-hmm.
And the PMCs are killing anyone who tries to get away.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you take control of, like, a couple of people. The girl you're playing as, she doesn't find her parents, eventually dies. So that's pretty dark. You play as one guy, I think his name is Storm or something.
Yeah.
And there's another guy who I forgot his name.
Yeah.
They find Hicks. Or no, they wake up Hicks out of his cryo sleep thing.
Yeah.
They get into a firefight with the Weyland-Yutani PMCs, which effectively retconned Alien 3.
Yeah.
So, like, as they were fighting, a stray bullet hit, like, grazed a facehugger that was on Ripley.
Yeah.
So it caused the beginning of Alien 3 to happen. And since Hicks was out of his stasis pod, one of the guys got pushed in by Weyland-Yutani guys. And basically he got impaled, and his body was so unrecognizable that they just assumed it was Hicks.
Jesus.
Yeah, and eventually you're just trying to get away from the Weyland-Yutani guys.
Yeah.
And you don't. It just ends with them
don't.
It ends with them capturing Hicks. I mean, I'm gonna play it probably only once, and I'm glad I don't have to pay for it because it's $10. But
I don't want to pay for that, but I want to play it.
Yeah. Speaking of, Michael Biehn, actually, he took another shot at the game.
Jeez.
Yeah, he was getting interviewed about Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
And he talked about the only voice work he's done prior was at the Aliens game.
Mm-hmm.
He said that it was a completely passionless game, like there's no enthusiasm whatsoever. And that with Blood Dragon, he had the most fun because they were all super into it, and it was so 80s. It was like he was speaking very Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Bruce Willis type of lines.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see how everyone seems to hate Gearbox now.
Yeah, Gearbox. God damn it. Tom just messaged me. I'm sorry.
What'd he say?
I was like, 2 hours ago, I said, I'm hoping to start soon. We want to do it early. And he said, well, I won't be able to do it that soon. Just now.
Again, listeners, if you want to send hate mail to anyone, tweet it to @GamingHobbyist.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but that's about it for the US. So,
you
want me to cover Europe as well?
I was going to. No, I got it. I thought I was going to have some trouble with my tabs. You know how my internet is, but I'm all right. I was in Europe. They only got 2 notable editions. You got Dynasty Warriors 8, which isn't available in Russia. So if you're a Russian and you're like, man, I really love that Dynasty Warriors, I can't wait for the next one. I want to play it digitally though. You're not going to get it. That's not.
And this is it's kind of funny seeing this after the last episode. How we hated it, but Constantine was the only one who liked it. He's like, hey, I like that series.
He's like, hey man, I want that.
The next thing they got, or Europe gets, is something that I wish we got.
Call of Juarez Gunslinger and Far Cry Blood Dragon. Is that like a joint thing?
Yeah, it's a bundle, like they're bundled together.
It's a bundle?
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, I'm not much for Far Cry. My brother-in-law.
Oh no, it has literally nothing to do
No.
with Far Cry.
I know that. But here's the thing, like, my brother-in-law had the first Far Cry, and we like from the tidbits, like he used to do Map Creator, but from the tidbits of like campaign that he played, it looked kind of cool. I tried to play Far Cry 2, didn't really like it. Far Cry 3 looks pretty awesome, but you know, it's not like Far Cry 3. I'm like, yeah, that's alright. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon came out, and I was like, well, I want to play that. That's what I want.
Also, Far Cry is a complicated history, because the first one's made by Crytek, and instead of, as people can probably tell, they didn't stick around to do the second one. They instead went and did Crysis. So Ubisoft had some team make Far Cry 2, which
I did not like Far Cry 2. I don't.
The thing is, it was a little like Just Cause 2, in that they were touting how big the world was.
Well, I also didn't like, like all the characters that you played as were just interchangeable. They were just like they didn't even need a face. Because it's not like they were going to talk or they were going to actually react to who you were, or at least that's not what it felt like. There were like 6 different characters, and it didn't matter who you picked. It was just really more personal preference. And I didn't like that about it. Like, I was like, if you're going to give me like a choice, make it mean something. Don't make it like, oh, well, I'm white, so I want the white guy. That's basically what it boiled down to. Anyway, Dynasty Warriors 8, $49.99, $59.99, and Call of Juarez Gunslinger with Far Cry Blood Dragon, $19.99 and $24.99. So, that's all they got, but, I'd say that Far Cry Blood Dragon, that's good. I don't know how good Call of Juarez is, I've never played it, but, I mean...
Again, the team behind Dead Island Riptide.
Oh, God. Well, at least you get Far Cry Blood Dragon. So,
yeah.
I mean, jump on it. $20. You get an extra game that you might like. Who knows? So we're gonna jump right into it. Like I said, I told Alan beforehand, we got an appointment later on. As I mentioned last week, my girlfriend is pregnant. We are having a baby. We're bringing a small child into this life. And with that comes lots of medical appointments, prenatal checkups, all that. We've got one today.
But the thing is though, last week I had no idea what you were talking about. I thought you were talking about someone else was pregnant.
Nope, I am. Well, not me, but I am having a baby. Not like out of my body, but just to clarify, that's not how biology works. Anyway. No, yeah, I am having a baby. I don't know if, I know that my internet connection was slow, so if that was not clear last week, and apparently it wasn't,
also that, and I honestly wasn't listening.
Jeez. Like, I'm trying to have a moment and tell, and like, make this big announcement, and like, no, but like, you don't even care, you're like, whatever, something about babies, I guess, whatever. Like, what, are they making a Muppet Babies game? I don't know.
Oh man, I'd love for a Muppet Babies game.
It can't be like a children's game, though. It has to be like, for the people that like, used to watch Muppet Babies who are all like 20-year-olds now.
Well, there was a Tiny Toons game for the Super Nintendo back in the day.
There were actually plenty of Tiny Toons games. I had a few on Game Boy. I had at least one on Genesis. It was Buster's Hidden Treasure. And it was amazing. I never beat it though. I tried to.
Now, it's time to go to...
This Week in PlayStation. News stories.
Yeah, are we gonna just, like, take...
Yeah, go back and forth.
Okay, so...
Cool. You can go ahead and start if you want.
Okay. So, we know that people in the industry don't really like used games.
No, they don't.
And I'm not.
Constantine doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name names. Microsoft.
I did. I mean, Microsoft is like, well, now we have to.
And like, I'm not gonna name another one.
EA.
Basically, we know that companies are against it, but one specific company came out with what they think the used policy, or the used games policy should be. And that is, Rura Surya.
I'm not even gonna try. Like, whatever you get is good enough. The way that is spelled, just, I cannot.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna make a guess.
Rura Surya.
Oh, is that it?
It's actually, pretty simple when you think about it. Just sound it out. But
there's like so many vowels.
Yeah, but he's the founder of Red Dead Dawn.
Ready at Dawn did a couple of things.
They did the portable God of War games.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's God of War. I was gonna say Bulletstorm, but I think that's People Can Fly.
Yeah. They did Daxter.
Yeah, they did a lot of the portable like games for like popular franchises, I believe.
They're basically like the Naughty Dog for the PSP.
Yeah.
If there's a good game, they rarely make bad games.
Yeah.
I mean, they really haven't made. They've only made like less than 6 games, but they're currently working on The Order 1886.
And that's gonna be a full-fledged console game.
Yeah, for the PS4.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it's their first console game.
Yeah. I mean, unless you count the God of War PSPs that got an HD collection on the PS3. But I mean, I don't really count that.
Yeah, because I don't really honestly think it was him, or not him. I don't think it was them. I'm pretty sure it was someone else. But
yeah,
he doesn't really unlike I said, certain companies, EA, Microsoft, that want used games to just go away.
Yeah.
He actually would prefer if they stayed, and all he wants is for the developer to get some, if not any, profit back from GameStop and other outlets that sell used games, because it's really not fair to the developer.
Yeah.
GameStop makes money. Does the publisher get money?
I have no idea. I don't know how it works. As far as I know, if you sell a game back to GameStop and then they sell that same game to okay, so if Naughty Dog makes Uncharted 3, Uncharted 3 gets sold new, then Naughty Dog gets money. But somebody says, I'm not into multiplayer and I don't really want to play this game again. It was good, but whatever. I'm gonna sell it back to GameStop because I need the money. Then GameStop gets it back, and then somebody comes in and goes, "Oh shit, Uncharted 3 used? I'm gonna get that." As far as I know, Naughty Dog sees no money from a used game sale. Only GameStop sees that money. So, I've never looked into it. That's as much as I've known. That's all I know. That they don't get anything.
Maybe. No, that's just crazy talk. Maybe we could do like a investigative piece behind used games, and when I say that, I don't mean
I don't think go to GameStop and be like, "Do you give money to Naughty Dog?"
Oh no, I'm thinking Unsolved Mysteries style.
Unsolved Mysteries.
Rest in peace, Dennis Farina.
Because if you did, yeah.
God, every person who was hosted that show has died.
That was one great mustache. No, I bet if you went to GameStop and tried to ask them, what exactly does Naughty Dog get any percentage of that? Do game publishers get any, or developers get any percentage of your used game sales? A lot of people probably wouldn't be able to tell you. They'd be like, "Oh, we don't really talk about that," or they'd probably be like, "I don't know." Not my job to find out.
Actually, I do have a guy I used to write with on a former site. He does work at a GameStop, so I could ask him.
If you want to, then we can talk about it next week.
I don't know, because he really, I don't know why, but he wants to keep it a secret that he works there.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also, like I said, a lot of people that work at GameStop probably do know, and probably don't want to say anything because they might get in trouble,
Yeah.
So, because everybody knows that it's a hot button topic in the gaming community, so you don't want to cause more trouble.
Yeah.
Confirming something that we already know.
Yeah. So, speaking of writing.
Yeah. Longtime writer, of Insomniac and possessor of a cool name, TJ Fixman, has left the company. He is best known for his work with the Ratchet & Clank series, as he co-wrote 2007's Tools of Destruction and working on games from Resistance 2 to Fuse. Despite this, Fixman will remain at his post as writer and producer of the Ratchet & Clank film. I've never been, like, into Ratchet & Clank. Like, I played like an hour or two of the first one, the very first one, and was like, oh, it's alright. But, you know, not something that I'd stick with. All for One, I mean, Tom would hate it, and would hate hearing this, but All for One, like, it is mindless fun. Like, if you just want to sit down with some friends and be like, let's just play a level or something, then, you know, All for One is pretty good. It's not bad.
Well, Tom's on here, so hey, he took a shot at you. He took shots at you when you were on the show. Take some shots at him.
Well, Tom is wrong. Infamous 2 is great. So, it has all the soul. It is better than the first one.
Yeah,
the first one is boring in comparison. Like, it ends the same way, regardless of what you pick. Like, it's just the color of Cole's skin and how filthy he is. Like, I have taken less showers because I'm evil.
Yeah, but Fixman was actually, he's not leaving because he doesn't want to be there anymore. He's actually leaving because his work with Insomniac has actually kind of boosted him up in terms of, like, the film industry.
Mm-hmm. Then he wants to get into like the film scene. Yeah,
like he actually had I think either a script or a treatment, whatever, picked up immediately.
Oh wow!
So no matter where regardless, he's gonna have a good long career, a successful career at that.
Yeah.
But it's always sad to see longtime writers.
He's a Fixman was a fixture at Insomniac, you could say.
It's like, it's the same, I felt the same way when Drew Karpyshyn left BioWare.
Yeah. You're just like, but you wrote Mass Effect.
He wrote KOTOR and the KOTOR books.
It's like, what? But you're supposed to work at BioWare forever, you know? And that's the same thing with Fixman. It's like, you're supposed to work at Insomniac forever. Your name's been in all these credits. Like, it's gonna be weird when we play the next Insomniac game and it's like lead writer is not TJ Fixman, you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's involved with Into the Nexus.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea. So, and like, just like I said, like, Ratchet & Clank, not exactly my thing, so I won't be playing Into the Nexus. I'm sure Tom will fucking be all over that, but, anyway.
Now onto some, crazy-ass news.
Comic-Con.
Yeah, I know Comic-Con's, it's
typically for comics and movies and comic book movies and all that. But there was a panel for a video game.
Yeah, that panel, or that video game being Saints Row 4.
Still want to play, but I can wait for a little while.
Saints Row creative director Steve Jarros revealed what could have been in terms of Saints Row 4's ending.
Mm-hmm.
The original ending was an extended Bollywood musical sequence, which I'm not surprised at all, because that is so them.
Yeah, it really is. Like, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that sounds like Saints Row.
He also said that the first DLC, Enter the Dominatrix, which was originally DLC for the previous game, will be coming out 45 days after the game, which is very specific.
Mm. They're like, don't worry, this is definitely coming out. So we have a schedule.
And Enter the Dominatrix apparently they changed it from what it originally was. Now it's going to be a mockumentary of things cut from the game, which, again, I'm not surprised.
Saints Row is still very meta.
I wish there was more things like this. Like, I wish like a lot of video games would have like bloopers.
Yeah.
Like, Last of Us bloopers.
I really wish whenever I think of Saints Row, I played Saints Row 1. I played some of Saints Row 1. Was not a fan of that. Like, it just felt like a stale, like a shitty Grand Theft Auto clone, and I didn't like it.
And that's what it was initially.
It was. I tried to play Saints Row 2. I wasn't a big fan of it. I had an argument. It was a long day, and I snapped at Marshall because I phrased it the wrong way. So I'll try to phrase it better this time. There is a lack of a Caucasian American accent for a voice.
Yeah.
In Saints Row 2, which is kind of disappointing because it's like, hey, when you create a character, you kind of want to stay consistent, and you want to kind of mold it after yourself. And it's like, I am a Caucasian male, and I am an American. So, but unfortunately, there are three without trying not to sound racist in a way, there is an English accent, there is a Hispanic accent, and there is a voice that is clearly reserved for an African American.
Basically, they cater to Tom.
Although it is funny to put together a white male and then give him that last voice, but it is kind of disappointing. And everybody says that like Saints Row 2 is great, but I'm not a big fan of it. Like, I've tried twice. Like, I tried before I played Saints Row 3, and then I tried after I played Saints Row 3, because I thought that, like, maybe it would be the same thing as Resident Evil 4. Like, Resident Evil is one of my favorite franchises. And I didn't start at the beginning. I started with 4. I tried to start at the beginning and was like, oh man, like, these tank controls are awful, and the fixed camera angles are terrible. And then I played 4 and was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back. And 4 was like the only reason that I played the first ones was because I loved 4 so much. And I loved Saints Row 3. I thought, okay, maybe I can do Saints Row 2 now. And I still couldn't. I was just like, it's not as goofy, it's not as silly, it's not poking fun at itself like 3 is.
Well, if you look at it at the series as a whole, it's like watching someone lose their sanity over the course of 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Because there were some comical elements in the first Saints Row. They kind of split it halfway with Saints Row 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they just went balls to the wall, Saints Row 3.
And now it's just, and now like the whole, like all of Saints Row 4 is like an alien invasion in a video game.
It's a simulation in a simulation.
Yeah. So, it's just gotten goofier and sillier, and that's what I like about Saints Row. Like, without that aspect, it's just another crappy Grand Theft Auto. Like, and I already have Grand Theft Auto. I like Grand Theft Auto. I like how, it's, Grand Theft Auto is a satire, and Saints Row is a comedy. And that's what I like. I like that clear-cut difference between them. So, I mean, I didn't mean to go on a rant about Saints Row 2, but I'm just saying, I wish I liked Saints Row 2 as much as everybody else does.
Speaking of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, oh my god. A long time ago, there was a PS3 exclusive in the works from Rockstar Games. Said exclusive was Agent. Years went by, and nearly everyone assumed that Agent had died a horrible death in development hell. And it appears that Rockstar has recently renewed the trademark for Agent, which has resparked talks about its status. Alan, I remember when Agent was announced. I remember hearing about it, and I was like, "Oh my god, that sounds amazing." Could you tell the listeners what Agent is because I'm just too excited to talk.
Honestly, I know nothing about it because that's all I've heard about it is nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, no. The only thing I've heard of, what's happening? What's going on with Agent?
Yeah, what's happening with Agent?
But it's
been a long time. And even I, have to look it up and be like, yeah, what was Agent about? But still, it's Rockstar. And
it's a Rockstar Sony exclusive.
Yeah, and there was supposed to be, some huge, it was, Hitman, I think, and, it was basically like Grand Theft Auto Online. It was this big open world thing. I gotta look it up, though, because it's hard to remember. It's been that long.
Yeah, not only did they renew the trademark for Agent, they also renewed the trademark for the Agent logo, which has the G, lowercase G, in the shape of a gun.
Yes. And it was, oh man, god damn it. I'm actually getting onto Wikipedia right now because I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I want to be able to talk about it real quick.
Yeah, there have been a lot of games that have been canceled or died in development hell.
And you're like, I was really excited for that. And you're like, what was it going to be about? Well, I don't really remember. I don't remember now.
Hell, I remember the Indiana Jones game for the next gen one back in 2007.
Yeah, here we are. Asian video game currently in development by Rockstar North for the PlayStation 3, which is, Rockstar North is one of my favorites. Actually, Agent, was all caps. The original, the G was capital and the G was capital, but it wasn't, the hole was in the shape of a gun. When the loop, the hole made by the loop was a gun. Let's see. Trying to find. Details of the project, including its title, were not announced until June 29th. Sam Hauser, founder of Rockstar, described Agent as a game the company had been wanting to make for some time, set out to create a unique experience for the player. But what is it about? God! Oh my god. It doesn't even really say. God damn it.
It's the opposite of a Peter Molyneux interview.
He tells you everything. He's like, you're going to love your dog. It's alright. Let's see. The game is set during the Cold War and will take players into the world of counterintelligence, espionage, and political assassinations, according to the Rockstar press release. Rockstar has yet to reveal any details regarding the setting other than the fact that it will be set in the late 1970s. So, that'll be kind of cool. It's also being distributed through Take-Two. I don't remember if that's the deal with other Rockstar games, but
yeah, that's a 2K.
Yeah. Oh well, jeez.
Yeah, they have it's weird. They have two different names. 2K is the industry name. Take-Two is the business name.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what Agent is. It's a Cold War spy kind of thing, and that's going to be awesome, and I'm excited to see more of it. There was some kind of, but I thought I know that there was some kind of like, it was described, I don't think it was actually like this, but it was like described as like basically, like using air quotes for basically, a Rockstar MMO of like, basically Grand Theft Auto Online, you could say. But I don't remember what that was called. It wasn't Agent, apparently. But anyway, regardless, it's Rockstar, and Rockstar's awesome, and Agent sounds awesome, and I really hope that this goes through and it doesn't like fall apart again. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. What do we got next?
So recently, like a week or two ago, they revealed another character appearing in Batman Arkham Origins. This time, this villain was Copperhead, but a female version.
I don't actually know Copperhead.
Yeah, Copperhead is really one of those like minor villains that they bring up and like try to revamp, like they did with Black Hand during the whole Blackest Night thing.
The Black Hand was also, wasn't the Black Hand...
He was in Green Lantern Rebirth.
Black Hand was wasn't there like a Black Hand group like right before Final Crisis that was trying to kill Bruce Wayne or Batman? And then he ended up like they tried to, and then drove him crazy or something, and he ended up on the street, and Grant Morrison oh my god, what was it called? It was a Batman story.
Batman R.A.P.
Yes, that one. And I was just like, I remember reading it and being like, what the fuck is going on, Grant Morrison?
Yeah, that's Grant Morrison. He writes shit that you don't understand.
There's a lot of things that he writes that you don't understand, and you're like, I don't want to sound like an idiot. And then there are a lot of things that he writes that you do understand, and they're fucking amazing.
I still don't understand Final Crisis.
Josh says that he understands Final Crisis, but I think he's bullshitting.
Yeah, because there's so many books that you have to read that are different. You expect to read the series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead, you have
but you have to go through all of the different books and
it's 1, 2, like a Superman issue that happened after Final Crisis ended.
Yeah.
Then there was the one Martian Manhunter's funeral.
Yeah. Oh man, that was such a sad moment when he killed Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, because no one saw it coming.
Yeah. Like, Jesus. And it was gruesome too. Remember the art for that panel when he set him on fire?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I was like, Jesus Christ. Grant Morrison is not afraid to kill anyone, really, in the DCU. He doesn't give a shit.
No, Grant Morrison is one of those. Grant Morrison had Animal Man meet Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison, off the top of my head, has killed Martian Manhunter, seemingly killed Bruce Wayne, and killed Damian Wayne. So...
And almost killed Dick Grayson.
He doesn't give a shit. Anyway, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Another villain was revealed as well. And this one, folks, is not a newcomer like Copperhead. The villain, Mad Hatter. He cameoed in Arkham City briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And, by tricking,
Oh my god, that was the best one.
Yeah, because you think you get a call from Lucius Fox saying Batman, I can fix whatever it is. So he goes there, he wakes up, there's Mad Hatter.
It's, oh man, that was the best side mission in that game. Because it was so, you didn't see it coming. I didn't even realize I was on a side mission. I thought it was part of the plot. And like Alan says, like Lucius Fox contacts you and is like, oh man, like I can fix this and blah blah blah. Come over here. We need to so you can help me. I can give this to you or whatever. I don't remember. It's been a long time. But he goes over there and gets knocked out. He wakes up. There's Mad Hatter. And Batman's got this like rabbit mask affixed to his face, and he's like fighting all these like monsters and shit on this like floating platform. And when he wakes up, he like wakes up in the Mad Hatter's little like shitty dingy apartment with like at a table with like dolls and shit.
Yeah, because the character Mad Hatter is obsessed with Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass and
oh, it's so fucked up.
And Mad Hatter. Yeah, that's the thing about a lot of Batman villains. They're just so mentally fucked up that
that's what makes him one of the best, because like he can only like these villains can only be handled by Batman.
Yeah, I mean, like a brief comparison between like the Rogues Gallery, Batman's Rogues Gallery are just crazy, psychotic motherfuckers. Flash, his Rogues Gallery are actually
really cool, awesome, like Captain Cold, motherfucker.
No, not just that. They're not like they're evil, but they're not really that evil because like they have a strict no killing policy.
Right.
Like one of their members killed Bart Allen, and again this was the Final Crisis. They had it was when they all found the guy. Or they found the guy, Inertia was his name.
Mm-hmm.
They found him, grabbed him, left him, I think at the Flash's statue in Central City.
Mm.
And the note just says, "We're even."
Yeah. Flash is like, one of Flash's main villains is a guy that has a freeze ray.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, there's also Reverse Flash, but, come on. Oh, man. That is, Flash's villains are actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, Flash is getting his own TV show, so booyah.
I didn't know about this.
It's, being done by the guys who are doing Arrow.
Well, I mean, they seem to be doing something right with Arrow, so.
Yeah,
apparently. I mean, I haven't watched any of it.
Eventually, it's so good.
Eventually, I'll probably will. But right now, yeah, whatever. I'm still burned by how angry I always was at Smallville. So.
Why? Because you didn't like Bart?
I just didn't like Smallville. I hated Smallville. It was a terrible, terrible show with the same premise, like all these people are poisoned by kryptonite, and therefore they have powers, because that's how kryptonite works. No, it doesn't. It's radioactive chunks of his home world. It doesn't give anybody powers.
If anything, it gives people cancer, as evidenced by Lex Luthor.
And
Ring.
Now I remember a long time ago, we watched, when it first premiered, my parents and I watched the pilot. And then we watched the second episode, and they were like, you know what, I'm not really into this. And we stopped.
The second episode, was that the episode with Dan Lauria as the football coach?
I think so. But
yeah, that was a weird episode. Like in the sauna room, some of the melting the rocks, whatever, were kryptonite.
Yeah. There was also, but my ex-girlfriend was big into Smallville, so big. She tried to get me to watch it. I made it through the first disc, and I was like, oh man, I just don't want to watch this at all anymore. But the one thing that like I totally wrote it off, like forever, was long before that, when I saw the promotional spot for the first time that the Flash appeared on Smallville, was when he was like, like, I guess he's challenging him to a fucking race or something, because, you know, that's what the Flash does with Superman.
Yeah, that was actually near the end of the episode run.
He says, I'll be back to and from that mountain before you can even blink. And Superman, the future Man of Steel, his response is, well, I can blink pretty fast. And I was like, excuse me? Come on now. That's awful! You're supposed to be the Man of Steel! You're awful!
To be fair, he appeared later on in, like, season 8. Or no, either season 7 or season 8. Much better.
Now, my friend, Allan, has watched Smallville. Now, he's a huge Superman fan, much like yourself, Allan. He's way big into Superman. Loves it. Loves him to death. It's his favorite. And, hates Smallville. But says, of course, and I expect this much. He says, the ones written by Jeff Johns are fantastic.
Yeah, he did 3 episodes.
He said, but the rest are not good.
Yeah, do you mind if I just say which episodes he did?
I know that I believe he did the one that, where they there was a bunch of, like, I think it was Cyborg and Flash and a couple others, like, showed up.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, that's not it. He wrote, like, an episode per season for 8, 9, and 10. His first episode was, brought in the Legion of Superheroes. Which is an integral part of Superman, like his history. Then in season 9, he brought in the Justice Society, and actually made it like there's so many ways I could have just gone off as being like totally campy. They made it work, and in season 10, he brought in the man, the myth, the legend, Booster Gold.
Oh, man. I love Booster Gold. Booster Gold needs to be the next fucking Injustice character. I think we actually have a story about that a little bit later.
Yeah, there's actually a Booster Gold TV series in development at Sci-Fi that apparently never got picked up, which I'm mad at.
Yeah, I know that Sci-Fi is not the best network, but I'd give it a shot if it was Booster Gold.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was the same fucking team behind Arrow.
So that's I've always said, Booster Gold's not big enough, for people to be like, oh yeah, I'll watch that movie. It's a DC movie. I'll watch that, I guess, sure, yeah. He's not big enough. Nobody knows, because he's the greatest superhero you've never heard of. But, nobody really knows who Booster Gold is. They know Superman, they know Batman, they know Wonder Woman and the Flash and Green Lantern and all that.
Well, because they're the Justice League.
Exactly, but they don't. I mean, Booster was part of the Justice League for a little while.
Justice League International.
He was part of Justice League International, and then he tried to be part of the Justice League, and Rip Hunter was like, no, don't do that. We can't have you do that. You need to continue to be a fool. And he was also part of the JSA, wasn't he? I think he was part of the JSA for a little while. I think he was in there at least for because I think I got the first couple of issues of JSA when the New 52 started. I think he was in that.
What do you mean, Earth 2?
No, the New 52. After Flashpoint.
Oh no, you're talking about Justice League International.
Oh, was it really? Was it JLI?
Yeah, and it got canceled after I think 12 issues. And he wasn't from the future, or he was from the future. There was no Skeets.
Oh, you can't have Booster without Skeets.
No Rip Hunter, no time travel.
Oh, no.
And Ted Cord doesn't exist in New 52 universe.
Yeah. I know that there was like, I don't know. It's, Booster Gold's got a great story. You know, guy from the future, he fucked up his life, listened to his gambling father, got caught cheating, throwing games. He was like a football star, I think.
Yeah.
And he was throwing games because his father's a gambler. And, he got caught, and banned from the game. So he started working at like this superhero history museum. He's like in the 25th century, I think.
Yeah, he was a janitor.
Yeah, he was a janitor at the superhero history museum, and he was like, and he studied a lot of 20th century history, and was like looking at like all the Superman stuff and stuff. And he stole like Brainiac 5's ring or belt, I think. He stole a few things. He stole Skeets.
Yeah, he stole Skeets. He stole the Legion ring that could allow him to travel back in time.
And he stole Brainiac 5's utility belt, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't it?
I'm pretty sure.
And
the thing I love though, I'm pretty sure it was Batman Brave and the Bold, where he asks him about his origins or something. And it just shows him just stealing everything and just running off.
Yeah, and the whole point of that was that he went back in time to make a name for himself in the 20th century, so he could like market himself and live comfortably in the future. Like he hoped that in the future there would be like Booster Gold merchandise, and he'd be able to like live off the royalties and whatnot.
Well, yeah, originally he was in all for the money. He wanted to just. I'm pretty sure at one point his costume had like sponsors on it.
Yeah, it was all for the money. It was all for the fame. I actually have the DC annual, like the big ass books that they have full of old comics for Booster Gold. And the first issue, the first page is like a full page panel of him talking to agents and like setting up meets for like interviews. It's funny. It's a big contrast because like I started with 52 pickup and like he was trying to be more serious then. But like the way that it starts, like it's a very unique spin on a superhero character, and as he grows, like he becomes much more mature, but he becomes like the superhero that that he needs to be while still playing up the role of the bumbling buffoon for the world, because as Rip Hunter says, and as Jeff Johns described him on the cover of 52 Pickup, he is the greatest superhero you've never heard of. And he's done so much to live up to that. If you want to check out more Booster Gold stuff, you should really check out 52 Pickup, written by Jeff Johns and I believe Dan Jurgens
took over.
Jurgens.
Yeah, Jurgens took. Jeff Johns left at about, I think, between
10 issues in, I think.
Yeah, then Dan Jurgens took it on, and it went for about 30 some odd more issues, and then it got canceled because of Flashpoint.
Yeah.
And the New 52. Fucking DC.
Yeah.
And I mean, the stories are still there, but they're no longer considered canon. Yeah.
Although I do know, based on his history, that like Booster was the only person that remembered the previous timeline for a little while when Flashpoint rebooted it. Like he was put in, and then some stuff happened, and he was sent back, and I don't know. I gotta check. There's like they have these Flashpoint books that are like they're like Flashpoint featuring Batman, Flashpoint featuring Superman, and like the Batman one is like it's like the Thomas Wayne story, the Thomas Wayne arc and whatnot. And in the Superman book there is a Booster Gold story. It's like Flashpoint featuring, and then like the main story is like what they're featuring, like Flashpoint featuring Batman. I had the Batman one. It was the Batman story, and then there was like a Deadman story, and a Deathstroke story, and like one more thing that I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, it had stuff like the Outsider.
Yeah, and like
my favorite character that's never coming back. I know it.
Yeah, and in the Superman one, that was like actually the last arc for Booster Gold. Apparently, it was in the Flashpoint featuring Superman book. So
wait, are you talking about the trade?
I think so.
Yeah, because the issues, he had a couple issues in Flashpoint where he was fighting Doomsday, who was being like, he was essentially a weapon used by the government, and Captain Atom, who didn't become a Captain Atom, was the main guy, and he was the only person.
That was the story, I believe.
Yeah, he was only. Booster is the only person that, or besides Flash, that remembered it.
Yeah.
And it ends. It doesn't end on a cliffhanger. It ends okay.
I think he gets sent back and like his mind gets wiped or something. I don't remember.
Well, no, because after Flashpoint, like after Flash physically changes time,
everything. Yeah,
no one remembers it. It's like what happened with the original Crisis.
Yeah, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
There's no other Crisis to me.
Infinite Crisis.
Well,
Final Crisis.
Well, Final Crisis, like example,
doesn't make any damn sense.
Identity Crisis and Final Crisis weren't really related.
Well, Identity Crisis, no. Identity Crisis, like, a lead into Infinite Crisis, and that was when Sue Dibney was murdered. Identity Crisis was, like, part of the countdown to Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. But, yeah, it's very good. I love it.
Yeah, following Crisis on Infinite Earths, after that, the John Byrne Man of Steel mini-series happened that pretty much retold Superman's origins, or pretty much redid Superman post-Crisis.
Mm.
Then after that, the Adventures of the Superman book that had him like his first stop or first time going to Metropolis.
Yeah.
Then like him and Batman, their friendship was erased from history as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going off track.
Speaking before we run back to PlayStation, speaking of John Byrne's Man of Steel, apparently Man of Steel movie drew a lot from that. And I mean, I know this isn't PlayStation, but while we're on the record, let's discuss real quick how you feel about this Superman Batman movie that got announced. Because we did just talk about Comic-Con. So.
You mean Batman or Superman versus Batman?
I mean, something.
Yeah, it's either, I keep seeing either Superman / Batman or Superman versus Batman.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, it's the sequel to Man of Steel.
It's the sequel to Man of Steel and it's got Batman in it. So, personally, as far as I know, it's gotta hit a few points. They can't, like, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne can get along just fine if they want, but Superman, Batman can't for a while. Bruce Wayne can be working with Lex Luthor to, I mean, you haven't seen it, but I know that you know it, and a lot of people haven't seen it, so I'll put it delicately. Repair some of the damage done to Metropolis, from the first movie. Cause I could see Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne kind of teaming up to do that, cause they're both geniuses and they're big in society and all that, trying to help. And then Bruce can find out how corrupt he is. there's got to be a lot of mind games. Batman has to figure out who Superman is, obviously. I mean, it's not hard. Everybody fucking knows who he is. Everybody.
Well, Batman's the greatest detective there is.
Well, I mean, if you watch Man of Steel, it's really not hard to figure. Like I don't know how long that Clark Kent disguise is going to hold up in this universe. Seriously.
Yeah, it worked in the like Richard Donner films because he just talked different.
Well, okay.
Had glasses on, and
okay,
his hair was different.
Okay, you don't care. You don't care about Man of Steel spoilers.
I'm a purist. I like the old one. I prefer.
You don't care.
My Superman, I want to say Tom Welling, but it's Christopher Reeve for me.
Okay. Because Alan doesn't care about Man of Steel spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and say spoilers for Man of Steel right now. You haven't seen it, but Clark Kent doesn't show, well, the Clark Kent disguise doesn't show up until, like, the last 2 minutes of the film. That's when he joins the Daily Planet, after all is said and done, after the fight with Zod, after all that. After fucking Zod destroys Metropolis, it looks like a scene out of The Last of Us, only without any vegetation. That fucking city is wrecked. Like, how long is it going to take to rebuild that thing? But, yeah, and fucking Lois Lane already knows. Because she's a fucking journalist and she knows this shit. She's not going to be fooled by glasses. But she figured it out. She figured out who he was. She knows. Superman comes in to, Clark Kent comes in with his glasses on, his hair not very different, and he's all buttoned up and looking nerdy, looking as nerdy as Henry Cavill can look.
He can, though.
He really can't. He makes Clark Kent look sexy.
Yeah, like he is a muscly ass man.
Even if he's like wearing a button-up shirt and a tie, and you can't even like a bulky tweed jacket to kind of disguise his muscles. It's the face. It's the chiseled jawline. He's a good-looking guy, and he can't make Clark Kent look nerdy or geeky like Christopher Reeve did. But anyway, he comes in the last 2 minutes and fucking Lawrence Fishburne's like, this is Clark Kent, he's gonna work here, and Lois Lane's like giving him this knowing look, like, oh shit, hey, how you doing? Yeah, that's cool, yeah, of course. Oh hey, yeah, I know you're Superman, that's cool. So, I don't know how the fuck he's gonna pull that off. Like, if Lois Lane can figure that out, and this is also coming from, like, a woman who, in the original movies, couldn't spell for shit. And, like, if Lois Lane can figure that out, Batman's gonna be like, hey, Superman? Yeah, you're Clark Kent. like, nice to meet you, Clark. Like, I know who you are.
Well, the original, if I'm not mistaken, the original thing in the comics was people like couldn't take pictures of him because if they did, his face would be like moving or it would be out of focus.
Yeah. Because
he'd be moving, his face would be moving too fast or something. But to be fair, comics in the 50s and 60s and 70s were
they really didn't have to. I mean, let's be honest. Like, Stan Lee's a great man, but Stan Lee has admitted himself that, like, in that era, genetic like toxic waste and radioactivity was just the go-to for, like, getting your powers. he was like, I did it with Spider-Man, I did it with Fantastic Four, I did it with the Hulk. And he was like, by the time I got to the X-Men, I was like, I've done radioactivity so many times, why don't I just make them genetically mutant? So, just kind of cut out the middleman. Anyway, yeah, I'm really excited about, I want to see, I liked Man of Steel. I thought it was a good movie. It was a long movie, but it was still good. Russell Crowe was great. Michael Shannon was great. Henry Cavill was even great, though he's got a very hairy chest, and some of those hairs kind of poke out of his costume. It's kind of weird. because you don't expect like a Superman with a hairy chest. So, Amy Adams is great. Even Lawrence Fishburne, because I mean, it was a new thing to be like Lawrence Fishburne is Perry White. That's kind of weird, but everyone was good. Everyone was great. I liked the movie. Alan, I think you should still watch the movie eventually. I mean, wait for it, but you should still see it at some point. I think you'll like it. At least enjoy it.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it because it has a Smallville connection.
I wouldn't know, but
Amy Adams was on Smallville.
Oh, well, there you go. Anyway, as far as the Superman Batman movie, yeah, eventually they'll have an inevitable team up. Who do you think would want to be? Tom's not here. Just
Tom wouldn't care anyway.
I just realized this. Like the only reason we've gone this long talking about comics is because Tom's not here.
Yeah, he's not here to say, "Stop it, children."
He's like, "Stop it! I don't care." Who do you think could play a good Batman? I mean, obviously you can't have Christian Bale. So who do you think should bring in? I have 2 suggestions.
I have about 3.
Okay, go ahead.
Val Kilmer.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna let you go ahead.
Ryan Reynolds. Because he was actually, there was talk of him being in the next the Batman series following Nolan's one. They were heavily interested in casting him.
Mm.
And the third one is mainly because of Henry Cavill, is Matt Bomer.
That's actually one of my suggestions.
Yeah, because they look alike.
They look alike, and Matt Bomer, I guess it's Bomer. I thought it was Bomber, but Matt Bomer has a very playboy look about him. Like, the first thing you got to think about is like, who could pull off Bruce Wayne? Because that's the face you're gonna see. You obviously want to be able to make sure that they can pull off, Batman as well. But you need to start with a face as well, really.
I really wanted to say Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but I know it's not going to happen, and it's sad.
It's not. But Matt Bomer actually is one of my ideas. Like, a lot of people think that because this panel when Zack Snyder announced it, he brought this guy out to read a line from The Dark Knight Returns. When he said, I can't remember the exact line, but it was I want you to remember this, Clark. I want you to feel my hands on your throat. I want you to remember the man who beat you. Something to that effect, I believe. And if anybody has read The Dark Knight Returns, and you should, because it's amazing, even though it's amazing, it's still overrated, but it is still amazing. It's a 50-year-old Batman coming out of retirement, and there's a huge fight between him and Superman, and he says that line. To go with the Dark Knight Returns vibe, if you wanted to get an older, not necessarily 50 years old, but
Oh God, I just realized who the perfect guy would be. Michael Ironside.
Oh really? Personally, I for an older guy, not like 50 years old. Like, that's too old. Like, you can't. I couldn't go for a Batman that old. Younger guy, if you want to go closer to like around Cavill's age, Matt Bomer. But like, if you want to get a bit of an older guy, that still has that playboy look and and could probably pull it off, I think John Hamm.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably wrap this up. We should probably get back to PlayStation, but you're gonna subtitle this something about comics.
But before we do, Val Kilmer was my joke one, My real third pick is Army Hammer.
Army Hammer. A lot of people have said, like, Army Hammer would be good, but...
Because he was originally cast to play him in the Justice League movie.
Yeah, they were going to, but now that Lone Ranger has come out, it's going to be really tough for him not to get typecast. Because Lone Ranger was very silly.
It flopped like a magic card.
Yeah, it did not do well, and it was very silly, and it's going to be hard for him to kind of recover from that unless somebody is just like, unless somebody goes, look, I really want Army Hammer, because like it's going to be the studio that's going to be like, no, he was in that Lone Ranger movie. But if the director or whoever's going to, if the director of Justice League or Batman or Zack Snyder is like, look, I want Army Hammer, and pushes it, then he has a chance, but it's going to be really hard for him not to be typecast after Lone Ranger. But I think that he would be a good Batman if he was given the chance, yes.
Video games.
PS3, PlayStation, PS4. Just PlayStation, Sony. Where were we? I don't even remember where we were. We were talking about, that. Yes. And I was gonna say that. Stefan? D'Austus? I think it's a French name. How would you pronounce that, Alan? He's like, your guess is as good as mine. The founder.
Stefan.
The founder and head of Eidos.
No, not Eidos. I must have left that out. It's actually Eidos Montreal.
Okay, so the founder and head of Eidos Montreal has officially left the building, but he isn't doing it quietly. He said the following. He said, the lack of leadership, lack of courage, and the lack of communication were so evident that I wasn't able to conduct my job correctly. I realized that our differences were irreconcilable, and that the best decision was, unfortunately, to part ways. So he's not going to be on the Eidos team no more. So.
Yeah, and this is coming after their shift from console games to tablet games.
Gross.
Yeah.
Ugh, what a waste. Seriously. Anyway, go
ahead. Good news, though, for people who are going to be getting Madden and FIFA. EA has announced that those people who buy said games for current-gen consoles, they'll be available to transfer their data from, again, said games onto their next-gen counterparts. Which actually is a great idea.
That is a good idea. I start over,
Yeah.
Sony. Oh, this is some really bad news. This is bad news, guys. Sony has announced that Gran Turismo is heading to the big screen. All that is known about the project is that it is being handled by the team currently working on the adaptation of 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, God. First of all, why would you want Gran Turismo to go on the big screen in the first place?
3 words. Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. Oh, God. I will admit.
There's already, the Need for Speed movies happening.
Yes. I'll admit, and I think, and we talked about this last time, Fast and Furious has gotten good. Someone there was like, wait, I got one more idea. We bring in The Rock. And that was the award-winning idea. That made them the money. But, I don't know. It's just Gran Turismo. Jesus Christ. There's really nothing to do with that. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ.
Do you know who Robin Antonek is?
I don't.
Well, He developed the first title in the Madden series
I have no idea.
25 years ago. He sued EA for unpaid royalties, even though it was included in his contract with EA in 1986. Also being given royalties for any derivatives of Madden, which there have definitely been. EA was found guilty and was ordered to pay Antoniuk $11 million.
Well, now I wish I was Antoniuk.
This means he can further pursue this for because this is just prior to 90. It was 86 or 88 to 95.
Jesus.
He can actually keep this going for the games made after 96, which the profit exceeds $3 billion.
Good God.
Talk about a guy you wish you were.
Yeah. I mean, oh, jeez. That is a lot of money. Good God. They really should have thought about that. Oh, man. Anyway. So, Mad Max. You like Mad Max, Alan?
Mel Gibson played him, so he's on my.
I'm Jewish, so Mel Gibson's my worst enemy.
No, he's on my kill list.
I've never actually seen it. I've never seen it. I hear it's good though. And this Mad Max game that got announced at E3, well, I mean, not much to see, but it did look interesting. And it appears Gibson may be returning to Mad Max, just not Mel. Donald Gibson, the younger brother, wants to voice the titular character in Avalanche's recently announced Mad Max game. Gibson is no stranger to voice acting, appearing as Captain Boomerang in Justice League Unlimited.
Updates to the story. Donald Gibson didn't get the job.
Oh. They're no. It's well, fine, jeez. Oh, man.
Disney registered a number of domains related to Star Wars Attack Squadron. And it's pretty clear we can rule out film. We can rule out TV series because they just unveiled the shots for the new animated series Rebels. So it's pretty clear that this is probably going to be a game.
This Star Wars just keeps going. It never ends. It's look, I like Star Wars. I always said this, and people get mad at me because they're like, you don't like Star Wars, you don't appreciate Star Wars. Look, I like Star Wars as much as the next guy, but there's something to be said about a guy like a series that you just hang on to for 40 years. Come on now. At some point, it's there are no gaps to fill anymore.
Dude, Doctor Who has been on the air for 50 years.
Well, that's fine. It keeps going forward, but this game, this series, just keeps jumping around all over the place. It's like Kingdom Hearts. I was eventually, Square Enix, you have to do Kingdom Hearts 3. There are getting to be no more gaps to fill.
Yeah, but this could either be a new Rogue Squadron type fight game, or, as I hope, a squad-based game like Republic Commando.
Yeah.
Which ended on a cliffhanger that never got resolved.
Oh, as far as, and also, before we move on, another example of the no gaps to fill is Metal Gear. What are you going to do after 5, Kojima? There's really nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
There's a good thing you could do.
Unless you want some more missions between 2 and 4, I don't know. But
you can hit the button called reboot.
Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh god, no. Don't do that, please.
I'm calling this right now in the year 2013. In 10 years, there will be a Metal Gear Solid or a Metal Gear reboot will have come out. I'm calling it.
You're leaving yourself a wide window, Jesus.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, Kojima doesn't make games, except for every 5 years anyway.
Yeah, he takes his time.
He's like, they're very long. I take my time. I write a lot. You don't understand. So I saw this trailer today. BioShock Infinite's first campaign DLC was revealed. Burial at Sea. Burial. It's like a funeral. Burial at Sea. It doesn't sound right when it comes out enough for some reason. Burial at Sea was revealed, and it takes place in Rapture before everything hit the fan. Which is exciting because that's like something I always wanted to see. I always want to see Rapture in its heyday, which is something that we got to see at Columbia, like before it all went to shit.
Well, you saw Rapture before the fall in like the beginning of BioShock 2.
Yeah, but you didn't get to play in it.
And then there was also the fall of Rapture, which was the multiplayer for BioShock 2.
Yeah, but I wanted to see beforehand. I wanted to see beforehand leading up to like that pivotal moment. Booker is a detective, and he and Elizabeth do not know each other, and it's going to be releasing this fall. Burial at Sea. So look for that. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be $15. Yeah, each for both parts.
Next up, hopefully, is some Last of Us DLC, because those are the two games that like have single and that's like I want to see both. Anyway, we were talking about comics earlier.
Yeah, now we're going back to comics.
Just for a little while. Don't worry, listeners.
After
Albert's out there like, look, I like comics as much as the next guy, but fucking I was here to talk about PlayStation.
After Martian Manhunter and Jon Stewart were revealed to be the next DLC character and skin for Injustice, Ed Boon said again that the DLC train has not stopped, and the next one will be one fans have been clamoring for. I personally hope it's Darkseid, as he's the most powerful villain in the DC universe, but
we all know who I want. I want Booster Gold and Skeets.
Or as I wrote it, but Matt desperately hopes it's Booster Gold and Skeets.
Yes, Booster Gold would be a great character. Oh man, I want to play as Booster Gold. I want to see a Booster Gold movie. Even if it was like one of the animated movies, I want to see one. Anyway, it's finally happening, guys. Listeners, after Treyarch put out a patch for Black Ops 2 that tweaks some of the weapons in the multiplayer mode, all the 16-year-olds that play Call of Duty Online verbally attacked David Vonderhaar, Activision community manager Dan Amrich?
Yeah, either one.
Said the following. He said, "But if the loudest voices in the Call of Duty community act like an angry mob instead, guess how the entire world views Call of Duty?" Amrich continued, "Now consider that these internet tough guy rants and demands are not unique to Call of Duty, but exist everywhere in many gaming communities. This is why the world often does not take gaming seriously. This is why gamers are considered the immature, whiny assholes, because the immature, whiny assholes are louder." So, that's going to lead us actually to our topic of the week, gamers being overly entitled and vicious. But also, while we're talking about this, there's another story about a immature, whiny asshole in the gaming community. Alan, would you like to talk about the fish and beer controversy?
Yeah. When I first heard about this, I thought it was just like some weird buddy film thing, because it's seriously fish and beer.
Fish and beer, like...
That sounds like
those are their names.
No, it sounds like a buddy cop animal movie.
It does. I would see that.
As some of you know, Game Trailers has a roundtable show they do.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, Marcus Beer, he took some shots at Phil Fish, who is the man behind Fez, and Jonathan Blow, who is the guy behind Braid, and soon The Witness. He called them hipsters.
Oh my goodness.
Because they're like indie developers.
Jeez.
And Phil Fish completely
did not take kindly to this.
Jonathan Blow, he didn't say anything. Because he took it probably as a joke, which it honestly was, because who would be stupid enough to actually literally call out two game devs?
Yeah, Jonathan Blow was like, I don't give a shit. Like, whatever.
Yes, but Phil Fish, though,
Phil Fish was angry.
Yeah, him and Marcus Beer had a bunch of fights on Twitter.
A very large, escalating Twitter feud, in which I believe Fish told Beer to kill himself.
Yeah, it's like, I think he said, try comparing your life to mine and jump out a window. And after this, he put out a tweet saying, I'm done. Fez 2 is canceled. I'm getting out of the games industry. I've been wanting to do this for a while because of things like this. Yeah, but after Fish said he canceled the game, Polytron, which is a development company that he started, said that we are very sad to announce that Fez 2 has been canceled.
Jesus Christ.
And, I really hate that this starting to become my catchphrase. Josh said it best yesterday. And the thing is, I fucking referenced this. I said the same thing. Mentioning about someone saying it best.
Yeah.
Not only is he just like a complete and total asshole for doing what he did.
Yeah.
He stopped a project which could have brought his company money and pay his employees who have to put food on the table and support their families.
Yeah, he didn't just fuck himself. He fucked his entire, staff.
He did all this on a whim.
Yeah, exactly. Keep in mind, they announced Fez 2 at E3 a month ago.
Yeah. And
Matt,
seriously. Have you seen or played Fez?
I've never. Well, it was an Xbox thing, and it was on PC. And as we know, I don't have an Xbox anymore, and I don't play PC games.
Oh yeah,
so I never got to play it. I never got to play it.
Game of the Year roundtable. Yeah. James asked if, Nate Gamer asked if
because he really liked Fez.
And James said, "Do you think these two knuckleheads, referring to Josh, play that?"
No, of course not.
To which he replied, "Because it's not on the superior machine."
It's not on the superior machine. It is apparently a very good game, but never got to play it.
But This is just, it's not a good move. Like, there's
It's a terrible idea.
There's no way that this could be spun to either make fish look good
or beer look bad.
Yeah, this is just
because I mean, okay, let's be honest. Beer made some comments, and they were, I mean, they were jokes, of course. That's kind of what they do. Like,
and he has a tendency to do this.
But I mean, you know, he pushed it, and he should, and maybe he shouldn't have. But the way that Fish reacted to it was just ridiculous and over the line and excessive. So that is ridiculous. It's and like I just said, like, he didn't just fuck himself. Like their studio is small. They're indie developers, so they don't make that much money. They're not like Naughty Dog. They're not like Sony. Or Insomniac or any of those. They don't make that much money. They don't make Uncharted money. So, you know, Fez 2 could have, you know, put food on the table for all of their employees and their families, and he fucked them all out of that.
Yeah, and the thing is, after E3, Fish said the reason they chose to do Fez 2 is because he wanted to go back to the world of Fez.
Mm-hmm.
He said it's an entirely new game. Fez 2 is to Fez 1 what Zelda 2 was to Zelda 1, but more different.
Yeah. And it's disappointing that to see somebody act that way, personally, is disappointing because, I mean, seriously, it's just like the guy at Treyarch said, like, or Activision said, that, you know, the whiny, immature assholes are louder. And now Fish is out there, and that's news, and people, like people are gonna see that and think that that's what the gaming industry is like. Like, we can, like, they're just assholes and immature and rude, and they cancel games on a whim and fuck things up. Just because they got called a hipster and they didn't like hearing that, even though it was a fucking joke. I tweeted at Fish this morning. I put in quotes. I said, "I'm Phil Fish, and I'm gonna cancel a game I just announced because I got into an argument because I'm a bitch." And I said, "That's you. That's what you sound like."
He actually made a on Saturday. He posted on Polytron's, their official site, a simple blog that says, "Fez 2 is cancelled. I am done. I take the money and I run. This is as much as I can stomach. This isn't the result of any one thing, but the end of a long, bloody campaign. You win."
What? Like, so beer calling him a hipster was the final straw in like a history, a long list of grievances against him. It's like, I've had a hard life. I made Fez and people loved it. And then I thought I'd do a second one, and they called me a hipster. So fuck them!
And the unexpected, and someone got involved in this, who was probably the most unexpected person you'd think. Cliffy B.
Cliffy B, that's right. That was this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, he issued an open letter to Phil Fish asking for him to come back.
I'd like to say that Cliffy B, given that Cliffy B is the guy that made Gears of War, that he'd be rough about it. He'd be like, don't, you know, and for some reason I expect him to sound like John DiMaggio and like sound like Marcus Phoenix. Like he'd be like, "Don't be such a bitch, Phil Fish. Get back in here and make Fez 2. Make your fans proud." But like, I know that he was probably just like, "Come on, man. It's not a big deal. You just come on back. Come on. It's all good." So I wish I could say that Cliffy B was like mean about it and like not like a real asshole. Like, don't be such an asshole, Phil Fish. Come on.
Honestly, he wrote, you don't owe a damn thing to any gaming journalist. We've seen the rise of many Rush Limbaughs in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
People who do videos or podcasts digging a finger into an open wound that gets the gaming community going because hits.
It's kind of ironic that we're talking about this, though.
We're talking about this on a podcast with him, just talking about people doing podcasts. This is so meta.
It is. No, I mean, okay, yeah, he doesn't know any gaming journalist anything. But
he then said, "You do owe a great product to your community, something I hope you'll resume doing sometime in the near future. The industry needs people like you to speak with their hearts before their brains, because I'm tired of hearing the PR-approved appropriate response.
Yeah.
I'm tired of games that feel like they've been developed by focus groups or clueless executives going, hey, that Call of Duty is big. We need one of those. Besides, at the end of the day, the cycle of community feedback and crafting that big fireball is entirely too addictive. Come back, Phil. We miss you already. Maybe I'll be right behind you, returning with adamantium skin."
Yeah. I mean, that's nice of him. That's really nice of Cliffy B. But, as Josh said this morning, said just let him go. Because
yeah.
Josh,
I posted that specifically for Josh to see.
Like, I haven't listened to yesterday's Gamercast, but as far as I know, Josh was fucking yelling like during the show about this whole story, and so I know that Josh is angry about him. Because, and like, we were talking about it the other day, and he goes, "Did you hear about this fucking shit?" And I was like, "I heard. It's kind of ridiculous." And he said, "I'm not buying anything from that motherfucker if he ever comes back. Like, anybody that acts like that needs fucking anger management. Like, that's ridiculous. And I'm not going to support him if he comes back."
Yeah, he said specifically, and he was essentially talking to Phil Fish as if he was
if he was in the room. He was on the call.
Yeah. Saying, like, I'm never gonna buy another game by you, or if you ever, I'm never even gonna play Fez because of you.
Yeah, because he's just put such a horrible taint on it now.
I'm still gonna play Fez because I enjoy Fez, and it's the thing is, journalists and developers are always just sometimes they're at war. Other time they keep everything calm. But every year something like this needs to happen.
Of course, someone has to have a mental breakdown and freak out.
Remember last year the headset guy?
Oh, well, headset guy. Are we talking about the German kid?
No, not the German kid.
Because I was going to say that was a while ago.
The guy who his company sold.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. Ocean something.
Ocean Marketing or whatever?
Ocean Marketing, that's right. That guy was the worst. Oh, man, he brought up such a stink.
He talked about how, he talked to, I forgot who it was from Penny Arcade. One of the guys from there.
Mike, I believe.
Yeah.
It was one of them. I don't know. I think it was Mike, though.
And he acted like a pro wrestler cutting a promo.
Oh yeah.
Then he was making all these these false claims, like that IGN's tech editor at the time was like apparently saw it and like they were friends. Then the tech editor said,
"I don't know that motherfucker."
None of that is true. He then quit.
Yeah. He was like, I can't save myself. I'm just gonna quit.
He closed down the OSHA marketing Twitter account, then opened up another one.
Yeah.
Because
and everybody then spammed that one with hate tweets.
Yeah, because why not?
Because, I mean, it's like, if you can't get away. We know where you are. Like, we're just gonna chase you out of the social media until you learn your fucking lesson.
Look, if people could find the German kid that stole the Half-Life 2 source code, people can do anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's usually stink like this every year. It doesn't make it any more acceptable. His behavior is ridiculous, and it's entitled, and it's just it's awful. That kind of goes, it's vicious, and it kind of goes along with our topic of the week of being overly entitled. We kind of let in with the Treyarch story about what was it? The tweaking the weapons.
Yeah, just a simple tweak and tweaks, modifications that
And
would
now
affect
people are
gun speed and stuff.
And now people are like
freaked
angry
out.
about nerfing or something.
Yeah, because
they think it's like nerfing.
Yeah, because the Call of Duty community, they used back when it was Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 1, 2, 3. It was like a normal thing.
Right.
But then once 4 hit,
it was a whole new ball game.
Then ever since Call of Duty 4, the Call of Duty community has become full of dude bros
and assholes.
Which is why I have not played a game of Call of Duty in at least 3 years.
I haven't played online Call of Duty. I did play Modern Warfare 1 and 2 campaigns.
Yeah, I mean, I play them for the story too, but it's just ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah. Listeners, I mean, we don't have a lot of listeners, let's be honest. and I know that Albert is not this way. But if there are other listeners out there, other listeners that tend to be like this sometimes, here's a public service announcement to you guys. Don't be assholes on video games. Don't do it.
No. Not just that. Just don't be assholes, because
I mean, look, you're gonna have times in your life where you gotta be an asshole. And I'll admit that, but try not to be an asshole in life, and especially not on video games. Come on, you're making us all look bad because you're all so competitive, and it makes you a huge asshole.
The reason,
because if you're doing well, then your opponents are noobs. If you're doing badly, then everyone else is cheating. Stop it. Just play the game. Have fun. Stop.
Yeah, because the reason
assholes.
The reason gaming still is associated, they're typically stereotyped as whiner nerds, is because the level-headed, clear-minded people who
25-year-olds live in their mom's basements, nerds, whiners, 10-year-olds who have fucked your mom,
The people who are intelligent and think logically,
we're a good community.
No, they don't do anything, because if they say one thing, then they'll just get flooded with being called just many racial slurs.
Oh, yeah.
And I admit, I used to be one of those people.
Yeah.
But then I realized, after listening to my to former friends do it, I realized, man, these guys are fucking stupid.
Yeah. It's not healthy.
And that's probably the reason why I don't play multiplayer games. Or the times I do, when I play Uncharted during live streams, I'm terrible.
Yeah. You should try to get on that Last of Us multiplayer sometime.
I have no one to play it with.
Well, you gotta play with me and Josh.
Okay.
It's really good. I'm gonna talk to him. We're gonna see if we can set that up. Maybe we'll play a little tonight. See what we can do.
Yeah.
And you should join us, listeners. Last of Us multiplayer. Find us.
Yeah.
Anyway.
With that, I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah, because as we've discussed, I've got a prenatal appointment in about an hour, so I want to make sure that I'm ready.
Also, in the last 2 days, I've done near 5 hours of podcasting.
Sorry.
My head just, it hurts so much.
Okay, so last week's question, we're moving on to question of the week. Last week's question, we asked what video game would you like to see a movie. Nobody really answered.
Because
this week's question,
things have been a little hectic.
Yes, very hectic. That's alright though. This week's question of the week. We don't have one planned. What do you think, Alan? Something about the topic?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's mainly...
What
honestly,
do you think can be done?
No, what do you think of...
Phil Fish.
What do they think of this whole thing?
What do they think of the fish beer controversy?
Yeah, because, I mean, Josh literally read a comment on IGN, or from IGN, and this is actually the one time where I really wish, like, the masses could just flood in and, like, voice their...
Oh, I heard that, you traitor. But the masses flood in. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, so I just want the masses to flood in and just not yell at them, not call them gay or
We're talking about, like, the masses flood in and talk to fish?
Like an educated, intelligent, logical person.
The masses should flood in and say to fish, like, you sound like an asshole.
Yeah.
Stop acting like an asshole.
They should mainly think before they speak.
Yes.
That's also in response to the Call of Duty thing.
Of course.
If you have nothing to say, don't say anything.
Yes. Don't say anything at all. It's a very old lesson, but it still rings true. Anyway, that is our question of the week. What is your opinion on this Phil Fish scandal, this controversy? And that's about going to do it for us this week, listeners. Thank you again for listening to VGU.TV's PlayStation Podcast, The DualShock Show. Rate and subscribe to our iTunes under DualShock Show. Give us 5 stars. Give us 3 stars. Just don't give us 1 or 2 stars. That's kind of lame. Give us, like, at least 3 stars. Yeah, maybe even leave us.
I'm fine with being average.
I'm good with being average, though I'd like to be extraordinary. Maybe even leave us a review. Something like, well, they talk about comics for like an hour, but when they talk about PlayStation, they're really on topic. Please visit our website, VGU.TV. Find us on Facebook or tweet at us at VGU.TV. You can also find us on YouTube at youtube.com/VGU.TV official, where you can also find this podcast in a video format. In case you're like, you know what, I'm going to put on as background noise, but I want to use my phone for other things. Why don't I just flip on the PS3, put on that YouTube app, and I'm just going to find it on the YouTubes.
And listen to people talk through a static image.
Exactly. It's just there if you need it. It's always been there, and we've never stopped just because, sometimes people just don't want to download on iTunes, and that's fine. You know what? Just go for it. Regardless, if you wanna find us on Facebook and Twitter, because DualShock has their own Facebook and Twitter, you find us at DualShock Show for both. That's all one word. DualShock Show. Or, if you want to tweet at us individually, Alan is at the Alan Muir. TheAllanMuir. I am Mattman07 with 2 T's. Tom's not here, but if you want to send all your hate mail to him, he is at Gaming Hobbyist. This is a PlayStation show, so if you want to play on the PSN with us, Alan is that Jew boy. That's all one word. BOI instead of a Y. I am Mattman310. I could use some help with Peace Walker if you want to get online. I still need help. I got 3 more chapters to do. So, unless you're that guy in Japan, then otherwise I'll see you tonight. Or play, Last of Us with us. Tom is pie_guy. That's Pie Guy, the guy with the pie. Thank you again for listening to DualShock, and we will see you next time. Never stop playing.
Sucks because it's gay!